PlayStation 4. What a wonderful console, full of secrets and interesting facts. But let's say that you are trying to get a platinum trophy for an awesome game and you do not know how to do it. Don't tell me you're one of those newbies who hit the PlayStation button, go back to home, open the browser, and then search in the browser how to get the platinum trophy. No, the real Superplayers press the PlayStation button twice consecutively to exchange between the game and the browser. And it also works with other applications. A little tip that'll make you much more agile when browsing on your PlayStation 4. We all know that you can charge our PlayStation 4 controllers by connecting them through a USB cable, right? And also, everyone knows that while the controller is charging, it emits an orange light that blinks. But not many people have noticed that these light pulses become slower and slower while the controller acquires more and more charge until it becomes totally charged. If you have the PlayStation camera, you can use it on your PlayStation 4 to log in using facial recognition. That's right, you just stand in front of the camera and you'll automatically log into your console. Activating it is quite easy. To do it, just go to the Settings menu, select Login Settings, and activate the facial recognition option. To finish, follow the instructions on the screen and you will have another interesting trick to surprise your friends at the next meeting. Besides facial recognition, you can also talk to your PlayStation 4 and send commands to it. To do this, go to the System menu and then Voice Operation Settings. Once inside, you can activate the option to use voice commands with your PlayStation 4. You can also see a guide to all the commands you have available to control your console. Very practical to turn off the console, launch a game, or even take a screenshot. If you are a fan of getting a lot of trophies in all your games, surely you have already realized that there are some trophies that are hidden. However, it is not very clear what to do to get these trophies, and you may not want to have to search the internet for all the information about each hidden trophy. But if you go to the trophy list of your game, look for the hidden trophy and press square. It will show you the information on what you need to do to get that specific trophy. And continuing with the theme of trophies, sometimes knowing how to get them is not enough. If you press the Options button, you will realize that you can search the internet for information about that trophy in particular, and you can even find videos that show you how to unlock it. For me, one of the most practical and useful tips that not many people know, and that you can do on your PlayStation 4. In this age of social networks, communication on video game consoles is extremely important, and that's precisely why the PlayStation 4 allows you to send and receive messages to your friends. However, writing messages in the DualShock, and especially messages that are relatively long, is not the most comfortable thing in the world to do on your controller. That is why you can press R3, or rather push down the right analog stick, to use the gyroscope of your controller when writing a message to improve your typing speed. However, an even more efficient way to read and write messages is with the PlayStation app on your mobile phone. But there is another app that many people do not know about, which is called the Second Screen app. In this application, you can write using your cell phone and you can see how the text is filling up on the screen of the PlayStation 4. We like this option a lot since it is a hybrid between the agility that you get when texting with your cell phone and still use the PlayStation 4 at the same time. A pretty good option that you always have to keep an eye on. Sure, you have a lot of friends on your console, but of course, not all friends are equal. There's some friends that are more special, let's call them VIP friends. If you want the PlayStation to notify you when these special friends connect, you can do it. You just have to press the triangle button on your friends list and select your favorite friends, so you will always be able to know when they are connected. If you have a game where the text fonts look very small or, for example, you have some limitation with your vision, the PlayStation can help you by zooming in so everything looks a little bit bigger. You only have to activate the zoom option in the accessibility menu, and to use it, press and hold the PlayStation button plus square. This will make the image look bigger, and you can even move the zoom. Obviously, it also works in games. This allows you to appreciate in more detail all the efforts that the developers have put into developing your favorite game, or simply improve your quality of life while you are playing with your PlayStation. Have you noticed that your PlayStation 4 doesn't feel the same as when you bought it? It feels a bit slower, the navigation is not that fast anymore, and the feeling of playing with it is not the same as when it was brand new. But don't despair, there is a way to make it like new. The first step is to completely turn off your PlayStation. That means not to put it on rest mode, but to completely turn it off. You will also need to connect your controller to the console through the USB cable and keep the PS button pressed until you hear the power on sound twice. There, you select the option to rebuild the database and you will notice the difference in speed in your console. And no, this will not erase your games or saves since this is an official procedure recommended by Sony. It's so fun to play with friends, and even more so on the same couch next to each other, right? But there are times that unfortunately this is not possible. However, the PlayStation 4 has a pretty cool option to help you with that. There are some cases in which some games do not have online multiplayer, and even if they do, perhaps your friend does not have the same game as you. For these cases, PlayStation has SharePlay. Be careful, this is not the same as sharing your account or sharing games. This is something else. If you are playing and you press the share button, you can invite a friend to see what you are watching or for him to take control of the game you are playing. This is also extremely practical if you are in a part of a level that you cannot pass. You can pass your controller to your friend remotely and he can help you play. Better yet, there is an option that allows both players to immediately play the same game. So both of you can play FIFA at the same time with a single copy of FIFA from anywhere in the world. How cool is that? How are you turning off your DualShock controller? Do not tell me that you enter the menu, then go to the part that says Devices and then select your DualShock and then you turn it off, right? No. The true Superplayers leave the PlayStation button pressed until the controller is turned off, a much more practical and much more useful way that makes you look like a true Superplayer. What happens if your friend comes to visit and play games with you, but you only have one PlayStation 4 controller? Well, many people do not know that if you have a PlayStation Vita lying around, you can use it as if it were another controller. That's right, there is an option to connect your PlayStation Vita to your PlayStation 4, and in fact, you can make the game be displayed on the PlayStation Vita screen. It is almost like having a Nintendo Switch but from PlayStation. And best of all, this releases your DualShock so that you and your friend can enjoy great games like Knack in cooperative mode. Yeah! The DualShock 4 battery is one of the worst batteries of this generation. In part because of the super strong light bar on the controller, it can blind you if you're not careful enough. The good thing is that PlayStation 4 gives you a lot of options to improve the battery of your controller considerably. If you go to Settings, then Devices, and then Controllers, you can do things like lower the volume of the controller and turn off the vibration, which helps a lot with the battery. You can also modify the intensity of the brightness of your DualShock light bar so that you can play more comfortably in environments that are darker and at the same time conserve more battery. So while this controller battery is not amazing, at least you have options. If at any point your controller is behaving strangely, whether it's not responding as it should or is randomly disconnecting or is just plain crazy, there are a few things you can do to fix it. On the back of your DualShock 4, there is a button to reset it. You only need a pointy object that fits inside the controller hole. Keep this button pressed until your controller turns off, and that's it. In most cases, this can fix your controller and make it feel brand new. The share button on the PlayStation 4 is one of the best inventions this console has ever had, but unfortunately, the way it works by default is totally inefficient. Hopefully, you can change it. If you go to the Settings menu and then select Sharing and Broadcast, you can modify the type of behavior of the share button and change it to the easy screenshot mode. From now on, when you press the share button, a screenshot will be taken. If you press it twice quickly, a video will be recorded. And if you keep it pressed, the share button menu will appear. This way is much faster to be able to record a video while you are playing. For me, one of the most practical tips that not many people know. If you are the parent or guardian of a minor, you should know that there are ways to control the content they play on the PlayStation 4, and even the amount of money they are allowed to spend on the console. To start, select the Settings menu and see where it says Parental Control, Family Management. The system will ask you for a password, and if you have never set one, use 0000. From here, you can start to put filters to the internet pages that can be seen on PlayStation 4, and also you can start creating and managing your family. That is, create profiles for each of your family members and put different restrictions on each one of them. This way, the same PlayStation 4 can be used by different members of the family, both children and adults, and you can also see how long they have been playing with the console and set limits on when and how much they can play. Also, of course, limit how much money can be spent on this PlayStation. Pretty neat, right? The PlayStation 4 is such a flexible console that it allows you to continue playing even without using your television. That's right, you can use the Remote Play function, that is, remote play through a laptop, a tablet, or a lot of other devices and continue playing away from the TV. Obviously, the performance of this function depends entirely on the quality of your internet connection and is preferable that your PlayStation 4 is connected by cable. But it is extremely cool to see your console being controlled and displayed by your mobile phone. For some people, this works pretty good, but maybe not for others, since sometimes they may perceive some lag or the connection cuts. Basically, it all depends on how reliable your network connection is. But this is another alternative that the PlayStation 4 gives you to play with, and one of the most interesting functions of this console. There are times when you turn on the PlayStation 4 to start playing and you really don't want anyone else to distract you. Maybe you're concentrating on a single-player campaign or just watching Netflix or YouTube and don't want any interference. If you press the Options button while hovering your profile, you will be able to log in offline mode. That way, no one will realize that you are connected, and hopefully, no one will bother you. This is much better than connecting in online mode and then switching to offline mode. And if you change your mind later, you can simply go to your profile again and select how you want others to see you. Definitely one of the best secrets of the PlayStation 4.
Superplayers.